Welcome back to the Lever and Better Wetter podcast, the number one podcast for female pleasure and for men who want to become unforgettable inside and outside the bedroom. This is the Female Pleasure Dirty Talk Edition podcast, episode number 3, where we are going to be talking about dirty talk and why dirty talk for women is essentially like porn for men, right? Erotic novels for females are like the porn for men. But when it comes to actually hearing that stimulation with the verbals, it takes it to a whole nother level for girls, right? Now, girls aren't as visual as men. They're more auditorial. They like to hear these things. And they're very visual creatures when it comes to their imagination. You know, in person, yeah, they like to see some abs. They like to see, a very good-looking guy. Obviously, women like good-looking men. I mean, probably more than guys like good-looking women. Like, let's be honest. It's probably even. If we're really being honest, it's probably even. But when it comes to actually hearing dirty talk in their ear, like just telling her exactly what you want to do to her body, it is irresistible to women. I think it might have to do with the vibrations of her voice. Almost like a vibrator getting her wet mentally. What's your thoughts on that, Anton?
Think you're in your fucking ass.
Anton over here is having some technical difficulties, but we're not going to let that stop us from getting pussies wet all around the globe. Are we now, Anton?
You're good.
No, you good? Like what? Like what do you need to set up over there?
Just want to make sure the angle's good. All right, yeah.
Bro, we got your angles on lock, bro. What do you think? This like the Black Cherry Studios ain't gonna get your angle, bro?
We got it, bro. We got it.
Bro, angles is our specialty. Angles is our specialty. That is our specialty over here.
All right, let's do this shit.
No, but for real though, auditorial. They like to hear stuff, and they like to visualize even more. I feel okay. So we were just speaking to Matt Artisan. So Matt Artisan he's got like 900,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's been doing ads for like dating coaching for a while, but he mostly helps men, right? So he's a dating coach for men. And one of the points he was making is that like women like to, kind of fill in the blanks themselves a little bit, where you don't give them all the pieces of the puzzle. You don't give them the whole movie in the beginning, because you basically want to lead them up to their own conclusion of the climax, and you want to keep them guessing, like, does he love me? Does he not? Is he gonna fuck me? Is he not? Because that's gonna leave more room for her imagination, right?
Yeah, think about women's minds like almost like a cat, right? Like, I don't know if people have heard about this shit, but like the cat string theory. If you take a fucking ball of yarn and you take a cat and you hang the ball of yarn over like the cat, then the cat's gonna like want to like get it, right? Like, it's just its natural instinct. But if you pull it away too far, too much, right, then the cat might get bored. But if you put it too low for too long, then the cat also gets bored, and she's like, oh, well, I already fucking got what I wanted. And women function the same way, right? So that's why mental stimulation is always fucking important to have. And one of the key things that you can have in your arsenal is dirty talk, right? And when you start dirty talking her, and like you build up the tension, right? You say all the things, and you paint this like perfect picture in her mind in excruciating detail that makes her imagine all these little things that you're telling her that you're going to do to her. And she visualizes this, she imagines it, she can almost feel it in her body. But then what you do is you don't go all the way, and you don't tell her every single little thing. Like, you leave like an open loop so that her imagination can fill in the gaps. And that's how you get a woman super fucking aroused. And that's one of the main things that we're going to be talking about in this episode.
Yeah. So like Anton said, women are very imaginative. They like to, not be given the full piece of the puzzle right away, the whole movie, like I said. That's the best analogy that I can come up with. It's kind of like when they go out to a bar or a club. You know what I mean? They don't want to go walk in, find the tall, good-looking, dominant guy, and just go home with him right away. No, they came with their friends. They want to dance a little bit. They want to have a couple guys shoot their shot. They want to reject a few guys, get their ego inflated. They want to dance with a few guys randomly, like sporadically. They want to get approached by this guy or that guy, or taste this flavor of that guy. And basically, they want the whole entire painting to be filled in with all the colors, right? Before they actually want to go and to experience the climax, if you will. So, with that being said, generally speaking, when it's a nightclub environment or, a night on the town, girls don't like to go home with a guy until it's like around 1 to 2 p.m. Now, 12 o'clock, obviously, if he's good enough, he's the best option and he has really good skills when it comes to polling, then she'll go with him in that case, in that scenario. But generally speaking, like, women are just abundant and they can choose whenever they want. So when it comes to that, they want to go and get the whole experience of the night first. And it's the same thing when it comes to dirty talk. It's the same thing when it comes to sexting. It's the same thing when it comes to actually whispering in her ear in the moment, in person, and building up that tension to bring her to the point where her pussy is literally dripping wet through her panties before you even peel them away. And one of my favorite things is to peel panties back and that wet string is attached to their pussy and you could just lick that shit up. You know what I'm saying? That shit is fucking
and that's
fire.
Exactly what you want, right? Like, you want to get her to the point where her panties are literally fucking dripping wet. Right. And like, here's the thing, right? If you guys get this shit down, if you guys master the dirty talk fucking skill, right, you're going to stand out from 99% of guys, right? 99% of men, right? If you can send her a sext or like a text, right? That's like dirty talk even. And you can do it really well, then guess what? You're going to be able to turn her on no matter where she's at, right? And if you can do that, then you're going to make a huge sexual impact, and you're actually going to generate a lot of sexual attraction because she's going to imagine herself doing these things with you, and yeah, it's super fucking powerful. Like I said, right, 99% of guys can't do this shit, right? So if you can, then you're automatically just going to stand out.
Now, there is something I want to talk about. Anton here, he actually, in his relationships with his girls, in his rotation or whatever, he likes to actually have them dress up at their house, put on lipstick, tight little red dress, and, schedules a FaceTime. He doesn't have an iPhone. An Instagram video call to actually have her be ready for him to actually, sext her and dirty talk her in the middle of the night, to get her wet and touching herself. I'm right. Am I wrong? Okay.
No, yeah, yeah, you're right.
Correct. Yes. And you take her all the way to climax?
All the way, bro. Like 10, 15, 20 orgasms sometimes.
Like, wait, her like with a vibrator or touching herself?
No, just her touching herself. And I've even had like women tell me that, they've just came just by my voice alone and without them having to even touch themselves, right? That just goes to show, like, if you can really...
Wait. Say that one more time for the audience.
Yeah, so I've had women tell me, right, when I'm dirty talking them over the phone, from like a long distance, that they've came just from like my voice alone without them having to touch themselves or use anything, like literally just an auditory orgasm.
That's some Alan Roger Curry level dirty talk. That's some next level shit. Have you ever had it where, like in person, you just dirty talked in her ear when she was like laying there and made her come without fucking her?
Yeah, yeah. That's actually one of the things that I like to do. Especially when I was going out a lot, and meeting women and like, meeting amazing women and shit, and just having these interactions with them, like out at the club, the bar, or even just like in day-to-day scenarios. And you get to the point where like it gets really sexual, and I've dirty talked a lot of women just like in public, like while we're like together. um and yes, it's works the same as you would use it at night over the phone.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in person.
Yeah. That's one of the things I like to do with one of my exes is I wouldn't even like touch her, bro. I would just whisper in her ear, like, I want you to come for daddy, like 3, 2, 1, fucking come. And I like, okay, sometimes I'd be choking her while I do it, but point is I wasn't penetrating her. Like I wasn't inside of her body with my genitalia.
Yeah. And
So-
that's how powerful it is, man. Like women are primarily psychologically aroused, right?
Psychological.
Like a lot of guys think like, yeah, maybe if I touch her here, like I grab her this way, yeah, it'll turn her on, but like not as much as if you dirty talk her and paint these things in her mind. Like like the majority of women, like they don't really get off to porn that much. They mostly get off to like eroticas. They listen to like erotic audios, or what's that one fucking app called? Fucking Wattpad or some shit.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like just like all these like stories and like that. They like to read like erotic sex and stuff, and that's how women get off, like mentally and psychologically. So
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of psychological going on. And now I want to talk about the tone of voice. All right, because clearly, like, if you're like dirty talking, like, I want to choke you and pin you up against the wall, and you're gonna absolutely love this. And there's gonna be a point where your body's gonna start shaking, and then you're probably gonna want to like tell your friends about it, and you're gonna be talking about it for weeks. There's something about that tonality that doesn't really do the trick now, does it?
yeah, you gotta have the right fucking tone. Like over text is different, right? Like she can read it herself and imagine it, but if you're in person, you can't just say sexual things in like a fucking happy tone. Like, yeah, I'm gonna choke you. Like you can't have that upward tonality and shit. Like it's just not gonna hit the same.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
You sure you're gonna fuck me?
Exactly, right? Like it just comes off like you have to have that masculine, like dominant, like low voice, and even like that,
Now,
like,
what is it about
voice.
the low voice?
Well, when you lower your voice and you slow the fuck down in your tonality, and you go just really slow, right? And you just start to like get really into it. She can feel that sound through her body. Like it's just like a trigger, like an ASMR trigger, right? Like if you're listening to ASMR and shit, like you feel that tingly sensation. She feels that when you're dirty talking her that way.
She gets the butterflies.
She gets the butterflies. She gets like a little fucking. She gets the tingles and shit. Like she gets really into it even more. If you
now,
the more you can like go.
Is that scientifically because the more testosterone a man has, the deeper his voice becomes?
Yeah, exactly, right.
Why does his voice get deeper from more testosterone? What is the reason? What's the evolutionary psychological reason?
Yeah, well, if you guys, I don't know if you guys notice, but like when you guys wake up in the morning and your voice is a little deeper, ask your girl, like ask her if you're like, have a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, or you're sleeping with some girl. If you wake up in the morning and you have that deeper, like raspier voice, ask your girl like what she thinks about it, right? Like how do you think my voice sounds in the morning? A lot of girls actually will say, oh, like you actually sound sexy in the morning when you wake up. And she won't even know what it is, right? It's just something about your voice.
Right? Well, how convenient, because I wake up horny as fuck.
Yeah, me too.
But, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want some dirty talk? I am fucking motivated.
Yeah, exactly.
I am motivated. When I wake up, bro, and I'm just like, bro, like my day can go out the window if I wake up horny and a girl responds.
Yeah, bro. Like honestly, the more testosterone that you have, the more usually the deeper the voice you're gonna have, right? And that's basically what a deep voice signals. It signals like power and like strength, right? It signals that you have a bigger body, right? A bigger structure to you. So whenever, like, if you were to put two guys in a room and a girl on the other side of the room, and both guys talk, one guy has a lighter, higher voice, the other guy has a deeper voice, she's gonna be more attracted to the guy with a deeper voice without even having to look at him. More about that.
Yeah, I have no idea why. I just know that it does. I know testosterone plays a role in it, but like I said, I was 8 months deep, and that's when specifically my voice was very deep, and like we get the full boost of semen retention after 7 days. So 8 months, it wasn't like my test was like higher. If anything, it was like flatlined, right? So there's something deeper there. I don't know what it is, but all I know is this: if you're nervous, your voice is gonna go like fast and high pitch. If you're calm, you're relaxed, you're feeling dominant, you're taking up space, you feel comfortable in your environment, that's when your voice slows down. That's when it becomes deep. And that's when a woman can feel relaxed in your presence. So I really think it signals that you are relaxed. And that's going to make her feel very comfortable, like she can relax as well. And there's a funny thing that happens when a female relaxes and she gets out of her head and into her body, and the worries and the stresses of the day kind of just disappear and fade into nothing. It's almost like there's another part of her body that becomes active. Would you agree, Anton?
No, yeah, exactly. 100%.
Yeah, it's almost just like it just happens automatically. Like she relaxes, she gets turned on. It's like women, I feel like personally, like women are more horny than men. Yeah, men can get like turned on like really fast and like want to go and do something. But I feel like women are always like baseline is like horny, like, but it doesn't, but it requires the proper environment.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, women tend like I read a study on this. I forgot exactly from where, but women actually think about sex like I think a lot of women think about sex at least like 5-10 times a day, like just randomly, like random fucking thoughts about sex, right? But yeah, also like if they're in high stress environments, if they're like always working, then these women tend to have like a lower sex drive. They're just more stressed out. That's why when they meet a guy who's like super relaxed and dominant and in his fucking frame, super grounded in his voice, like you could just hear it and everything, like that guy's gonna transfer that masculine energy, and she's gonna feel more feminine, she's gonna feel more relaxed. And yeah, a part of like the dirty talking, that tonality that you have, that deep like slow voice, right, that you slow down and stuff like that, when you do that, you have to be relaxed. You can't do that like if you're super tense. So the more relaxed you are,
for sure,
the more your voice can like slow down and stuff like that. And she can feel that. She can feel you're relaxed. And again, this ties back to like having high testosterone and low cortisol levels, right? Because if you have high testosterone and high cortisol, then that's also gonna fuck with your body, right? And like your masculine presence and essence, right? So yeah, you gotta be fucking relaxed.
And women are dying to get out of their heads and into their body, like especially in today's day and age, like Anton was saying, like when they're working in high stress environments where they're literally forced into their masculine energy like on a daily basis. There's nothing more, appealing to her than to literally get out of her head and into her body. And generally speaking, men create the container for a woman to be able to create a home, to be able to express, to be able to be in her feminine. Her guard has to be let down by a masculine man. And this is why women go for taller guys, more muscular guys. This is why they go for guys with deeper voices. And it's just because she's going to feel in her feminine more often around this man. And it is what it is. Like,
yeah,
it really is.
The more masculine the guy is, the more dominant he is, the more the girl is going to be in her feminine. Just naturally. Even a fucking like a feminist girl who's like very tomboyish, right? She's like very like masculine, I guess, like a masculine woman, right? Even a woman like that is going to go automatically into her feminine when she's around like a truly fucking masculine guy, right? Like even more masculine than her. She's going to like, that's just her natural instinct. She's going to fall back into her feminine. And it's just, that's the way it is, right? Like that masculine feminine polarity. The more dominant the guy is, the more masculine, the more feminine women are going to be around him. Even if she's not, if she's a bitch to everybody else, she's not going to be a bitch to him. She's going to be a little more submissive, right? And that just comes down to like your masculine presence, that you need to have.
Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, even guys that are very masculine, that are very dominant, they don't dirty talk women too much these days, especially if they don't feel like they need to. And, this creates an opportunity for other guys who do.
Yeah.
But it's also creates. See, here's the thing about women, right? I look at women like they are here to just experience the buffet of life. So if you look at like a buffet, you want to taste this, you want to taste that. They have every option on the table. Women, they can try out every guy, and so yes, they have a type physically, but they also end up sleeping with a guy who has a certain amount of status, or getting with a guy who dirty talks them the right way that they're looking for, or touches them the right way, or maybe he was just funny, maybe he was just very charismatic, free, and outgoing, which put her in a relaxed state, or maybe he knew how to tell engaging stories and captivate her, put her in a trance. Maybe he was a hypnotist and he literally put her in a trance. There's so many different things that can make a girl go outside of her type, if you will. And this is what girls say when they say, "Oh, well, if you have an amazing personality, then possibly the height and the other qualifications won't really matter so much." But dirty talk is definitely one aspect that girls don't get almost with any guys these days. And it's a life-changing experience for girls. It's a game changer if you're a guy who knows how to do it and do it properly, and to the point where she is going to be dripping wet before she even gets to you. Now, I used to send a lot of voice messages to girls back when I was just first getting into this dirty talk like vibe, and I was like, wait, I used to do this actually before, when I used to text girls when I was like in 6th grade. Like, this is always what I've been doing, like, and I just realized, like, whoa, this is a part of me that I've been neglecting. This is a superpower that I have in the shadows that I haven't been using. And when I started doing it, oh my God, I got some crazy results. Like, I went from like, yo, like, why am I so dry? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even like pull a girl or something, like, and like I go like a week without having sex, to like girls just literally like hitting up my phone like, "Daddy, I want to hear your voice again. Like, you have such an attractive voice." Like, all this shit, right? And nowadays I do it sparingly, because I feel like I almost am like an entitled like 6'3" fucking guy. That's how I feel these days. So like I do it less, but at least I have the awareness and the contrast to know that I need to bring it back in more. These days I'll just send it. I'll send like a dirty fucking voice memo like once like every couple days or something. And then if she latches onto it, I'll send like a few more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's something that you guys who are using like dating apps and shit, you guys need to fucking use. Like, everybody's using. All right, if you guys, here's like some quick like game real quick for online dating. He already pointed it out, but I'm just emphasize on it. If you guys are using dating apps and like Tinder, Bumble, whatever the fuck you guys are using, if you guys want to stand out from the majority of men, don't just fucking text her like every other guy. Send her that voice message, like he said, right? Send her that voice message. And if you're not good with like, your tonality, you're not good with, speaking and, slowing down and like having that seductive masculine tone, then what you can do is you can actually practice, record yourself, and you might think you're going to sound stupid, and you probably are. But like, if you practice and you record yourself and you keep doing it over and over again, and you practice slowing down, right? And you slow down your tonality and you just hear yourself how you sound. And if you can do that, like master that right first, then once you transfer that onto a voice message that you're sending on to a girl on online dating, then she's actually gonna like respond to you and become more compliant to you over other guys, especially if you do it really fucking good, right? If you have that good voice, that like nice, crisp, buttery voice, right? If you have that voice, then you don't even need to say anything sexual, right? You could be talking platonic ass fucking shit, responding platonically, and as long as you have that sexual energy in your voice and that tonality, and you slow down and you just have that tonality like all around, she's gonna get turned on by your voice. Either way, no matter what you're saying. Like, I've done this a lot, even in person too, like where it's not even like I'm not saying anything sexual to the girl, like we're just kind of vibing, and then like we're having good chemistry, and she's maybe talking about like, I don't know, her fucking job, and I'm just like, talking about, what I do, or not what I do, but like just random shit, right? That's not even sexual.
Yeah.
But I say it in a way that's like, yeah, like, so actually, last weekend, right? I went up to this bar, and it was just like fucking amazing as like, yeah, you see, like, you're talking that tonality, you're talking about like some random shit.
Yeah.
She's gonna feel that sexual tension, bro.
100%.
Yeah, like, it's an underutilized skill that a lot of men are not using,
Yeah.
and it's really gonna spice up.
It's an opportunity.
Not even just spice up. It's gonna fucking amp up your dating life and your relationships, and it's gonna make her like turned on for you.
Yeah. So one of the things Anton was touching on there is you can basically sexualize anything with the right tonality. You could talk about food. Now, you could actually use analogies or comparisons. So, like, yeah, I was eating, this spaghetti, and like the texture was just so fucking, like, it was just so, I can't explain it, but it was so good. Like, when that molecule hits your tongue, like, you just know, like, you had to have more. Like, you could sexualize spaghetti, right? And so that's like one way. And you can, compare like chocolate or spaghetti or like whatever, like the taste, the flavor of biting into a juicy mango. It sounds more sexual because it's juicy and wet, which are things that are also related to sex. That's better. But like Anton was saying, you could talk about anything. So you can get clever with it. Or you could say anything. Now, what he was saying also, voice memos, sending voice memos to yourself or just to a bunch of girls, and getting that practice in really is what it comes down to when it comes down to dirty talk. Now, there's a guy, Alan Roger Curry. He was like a sex phone operator for a very long time, and he made a lot of girls come with his voice. That is somebody who you should actually go and listen to his audiobooks. One of his books is called Ooh, Say It Again, and it's literally one of the best dirty talk books in the world, and you should, learn some of the things that he says in there and master the tonality, because he uses his own voice. He's the one narrating, and he literally gives you the proper tonality, and he gives you things you could say. Now, when it comes to what you can say when you're actually dirty talking, or you actually want to escalate the situation, the scenario, what I like to do personally is either one of two things. I either break up the story and lead it from the approach or what's going to happen right when I meet her to the climax, but I break it up into sections, or I just go out. I go all out, and I just one voice memo from like what I'm going to do right when we meet all the way up until climax. So you could do it either way. You could break it up. But what I generally like to do is I like to start from the beginning, right? Because foreplay is king, right? So let me get an example. So I might say, like, as soon as I see you, I want you to walk up to me, and I'm going to give you a firm hug. And then I'm going to take you by the wrist, and I'm going to lead you directly into the room. As soon as that door closes behind you, you're going to get pinned up against the fucking wall. Do you understand? And you're not going to resist. You're going to let me do exactly what the fuck I want to do to you. And then I'm going to take a step back, and I'm going to look you up and down at your body, and I'm going to think about all the things that I'm going to do to you. And then I'm going to step forward, and I'm going to whisper in your ear exactly what the fuck I was thinking. And then I'm going to run my hands all over your body to the point where you're literally starting to get wet, and you're dripping, and your fucking legs are starting to tingle. And at this point, that is when I'm going to push you on the bed and pin you down and put my hand on the back of your neck while you put your pussy up in the air for me. And I'm going to, etc., right? Etc., 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 to completion. So I might do a full one like that, or I might break it up. So I might say, oh my God, you're going to fucking hate me if you know what the fuck I'm going to do to you. Oh my God, you don't even want to know it. You don't even want to know it. No, tell me. Oh, fuck. Like, if you get me started on this shit, like, if we're going to be here all fucking night, like, you're not going to sleep tonight. No, like, please just tell me, like, are you going to be a good girl? Yeah, I'm going to be a good girl. All right, so as soon as I see you, right, I'm going to walk up to you, and I'm going to give you a firm fucking hug. And I'm going to take a fistful of your fucking hair, and I'm going to look at you deep in the eyes, and I'm going to say, you're going to be a good girl tonight. And you're going to say, you understand, right? That's what you're going to do, right? Good girl. Yep. And then I'm going to take you by the wrist and I'm going to walk you directly into the room. Fuck. Oh, it gets bad after this. Fuck. And I just leave like these open loops and make her chase for more. Or I'll just leave it like empty by saying something like, and then we get into the room and I just give you that look like you know what the fuck is about to happen. And then ... basically, right? You just leave it open. And she goes, and then, and she chases, right? Now, I like just going for the kill because generally speaking, I just like to get it over with. But if I really fuck with the girl and I'm really trying to, draw it out, because the longer you draw it out, the more opportunity you have to get her deeper in her emotions and lost in the fantasy. But you also, if you're not doing it right, you also have a risk of losing her attention. So you have to do it skilled, right? And if you do it without the pauses, you definitely have to be skilled, right? Because you have to flow with that from beginning to end. I like to do that personally. That's what I like to do. I like to explain it all the way up into orgasm, right? Because I feel like I just send one sex and it's done with, right? But yeah, generally speaking, like back in the day, I used to only just sex this stuff. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? This phone, this like little device right here, this magical portal into other worlds, I can literally use to basically stimulate her senses in other ways. And like I said, girls are less visual. They're more auditorial. So like when they hear this, they get stimulated and then they started imagining what it's going to be like. And they start touching themselves, and then it's game over. Now, sometimes they'll be like, Daddy, I started touching myself. Is that okay? And I might say something like, yeah, you could touch yourself, but you're not allowed to come until you're in front of me. Do you understand? Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, my God, that's making me want you even more. Like, right? Because now I'm building that tension more. It's all just about building that tension so that when you're in person, the chemistry is off the charts. Recently, I had this girl, we were sexting for a whole week before hanging out, right? Every day, every night, we would just like sext. I send her voice memos. And this is what I do when I'm talking to a girl I'm very attracted to. But as soon as she got here and we met up, I could feel her sexual charge immediately. She was just like so like nervous and like, oh, she's been fantasizing about this like the whole week. And then like she came over to give me a hug, and then like she kind of was like expecting a kiss. I could tell she was expecting a kiss, and then I kind of just left it like without a kiss. And then like you could just tell that like she had already visualized and fantasized each moment. And maybe it wasn't playing out exactly how she thought, but it was like, the point is she was visualizing and she was playing it out, and she did have expectations, and she was in her head, and she was in my frame and reacting to me as she got there. And that's the reason why we had such amazing chemistry. And that's the reason why I could just literally tell her like, hey, come here. Like, hey. Like the whole Riz memes these days. There's the whole like unspoken Riz where the dude's just like, literally like that's the type of unspoken Riz you can have when you have built up the tension to this level. Or if you're super fucking good looking, great genetics, and fucking, you know what I'm saying, born as a gift to women. Okay. But the other option is dirty talk.
Yeah. If you guys build that tension up for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even like a month, right? She's by the time, like if you're like seeing like a girl, right? And maybe you're not seeing her for like a week, and you dirty talk her, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you see her on Saturday, and you build that fucking tension throughout those 7 days, 6 days. By the time that she sees you, by the time that you meet her in person, she's gonna want to like rip you to shreds. Like literally, I've had like women that I've dated, women that I've been with, where I do this, right? Sometimes I'll even extend, like I will tell her like she's not allowed to fucking touch herself, right, until I see her, right? And I'll dirty talk her throughout the week, and she'll be like, please, can I touch myself? And I'm like, no, you're not allowed to fucking touch yourself. I told you until I fucking see you. Do you understand? Right? And you do that, right? And you build that tension. Like every single line, every single word that you say, just keeps building that sexual tension, right? And you do that throughout the week. By the time that she sees you, she's gonna want to fuck the shit out of you. Literally the moment that she walks into the door, right? And I've had this shit like literally happen, right? Like I've had a lot of my students happen to them, where they implement this stuff, the dirty talk stuff, like, and you can apply this to anything, right? Relationships, casual, like seeing multiple women, maybe you're fucking married, it doesn't matter. It's the same fucking shit. And it's a really good way to, you know, keep your relationship alive. If you're in a serious relationship, married, you don't want shit to get stale. We'll implement dirty talk, right? Build that fucking tension, right? Get her fucking wet. Get those emotions going, and like always keep her on her toes, on the very edge, and just be that sexual excitement through years, going on through years of her life, right? Like you don't want to be that boring fucking guy. You don't want to be that guy that's like, she marries, she's like, you're like that cool guy, attractive, and then later on in the marriage, it's everything dies down. And like, this is why, guys who are in long-term marriages or relationships, they end up, having a sexless relationship because they don't do these things, right? So if you start implementing shit long-term, you can implement this shit short-term relationships, casual, multiple, whatever kind of fucking relationship you want to have. It's gonna really fucking like put your relationship and your sex life on steroids. And she's gonna be the one escalating on you, right? She's gonna be the one wanting to come and fuck you. She's gonna be begging you to fuck her. The tables are gonna fucking turn. The majority of men are always chasing women for sex, right? And it's not a bad thing, right? Chasing, yeah, okay, you don't want to chase. You don't want to come from a chasing place, like a needy place. You want to come from a place of desire, right? And you can show that through dirty talk. But if you show that desire through dirty talk, now she's gonna desire you back even more, right? And this is where, now you get women, literally wanting to meet you for sex, strictly for sex, right? They literally just start seeing you as a fucking sex object. And maybe she cares about you, yeah, whatever. But like, she'll literally just look at you and like get turned on, because like she associates these sexual experiences with you, so that every time that she looks at you, she's gonna get turned on, even if you don't dirty talk her. Sometimes she's just gonna be like thinking about all these fucking nights that you dirty talk her and make her come over the phone. And yeah, you just build that like sexual tension, like day in, day out, right? She's not gonna get bored of that shit, and it's just gonna be like an explosive like sexual chemistry between you two.
Now, something for the audience. Some people watching this are your students, Anton.
Yeah.
They have gone through, FDA, right? And I don't even want to say it here, what it stands for. Yeah. Top secrets.
Yeah, top secret.
F-Date Accelerator, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they have gone through your sexual dominance course, right? But some people in here haven't, right? Let's pretend they are one of your students right now. What kind of experience do they get to, what do they get to see behind the scenes? What is some of your dirty talk? Can you maybe give it to the future students right now of, giving them what they have to look forward to in the programs? Maybe just something that you open some girls with, or something that you use in the beginning. What's some of Anton's dirty talk?
Yeah, so if you guys want some insight for those of you guys that, have never seen my course, never seen any of my content, and, just want some insight on what it is exactly that I'm showing and teaching and literally fucking walking you guys through. So first of all, everything is going to be super practical as fuck, right? The experience is going to be visual, meaning I literally pre-recorded every single fucking thing you can do inside the bedroom, right? And every single technique, every single mindset, with a model, I recorded everything. You can see it literally on your fucking screen, exactly what I'm doing, and I'm showing you, right? So you get that visual experience so that you can learn instead of just reading it on a book or hearing it on an audio. You literally get to watch and learn exactly how you give a woman 10 to 15 orgasms and do all the practical stuff inside the bedroom. When it comes to dirty talk, I also show you guys exactly how to say these things, right? What to say, how to say it, right? I have this model called go slow, go down, and pause, right? Go slow, go down, and pause. And that's basically the tonality formula that you use, right? You always want to go slow, and you always want to pause, right? You want to go down in your tonality, not up, right? And you guys will get to see like not only the practical videos, like where you get to learn step by step, but you also get to see like my experiences, and I talk a lot about like, you know, sexual experiences that I've had, and, you know, in different situations, different scenarios. And, you know, if you become my VIP elite student, then you get to come out in person, and we literally do live boot camps where you get an actual hands-on experience with the model and or models, right? And I literally walk you guys through this like you know, in detail, in-depth, explicit experience behind the scenes, never before seen ever. And you guys get to experience that full on.
Okay, so Anton, I'm just gonna play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
I'm a student or a potential student watching this right now. I'm like, okay, you just gave an amazing explanation of what it is, but you still didn't give me a piece of your dirty talk. Like I want a technique, bro. I want something I could go out and use like tonight, tomorrow. Like I want to go to the bar, the club, whatever. I want to be able to use this right now. Like, so I know that like you're about your shit and like this is going to work for me if I get the program, you know what I'm saying? And I can actually expand on this.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, I have a lot of shit. But I'll give you guys one thing. All right. I'll give you one thing. So one thing that you can do, right, in terms of like dirty talk, to really fucking amp shit up, right? Get shit hot as fuck where she's literally sweating and dripping down her fucking leg, right? What you want to do is you want to set up almost like a phone call, like a sex, like phone sex, right? You want to set up some like a phone sex call with her. And, you know, obviously beforehand, you know, you want to pre-frame everything and you want to like get her open to it and, you know, make sure that she knows that you're not going to judge her. You want to have all those things in place first, right? And I show you guys exactly how to do that, how to set the right frames and the right space for her to be open to all these things, right? Because I can teach you all these things, right? But like if she's not open to it, she's closed off, she's not going to have that much pleasure, right? So whatever, you get that pre-handled, that's the prerequisite. And then you set up this phone call, right? And basically what you want to do is you want to tell her, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. And I want you to hear and listen to everything that I say. Do you understand? Right? You set that frame where you're going to be giving her commands. She accepts, right? That's a lot of dominance right there. She's going to fucking love it. And then from there, you start literally guiding her, right? So instead of just dirty talking her, you're guiding her, right? Guiding her exactly how to move her hand, where to place her hand, right? You can even make her choke herself, grab her, you know, like her breast, her chest, and like just move her hand anywhere that you want, right? And basically guide her body with your commands, right? And this is actually going to turn her on so fucking much, right? And instead of just being like, you know, third person view, dirty talk, like where you're saying, oh, imagine this scenario. No, you're telling her, I want you to, you know, grab your hand and slowly start sliding it down your entire body, right? And I want you to place your right hand over your clit, but I don't want you to fucking move it at all, right? And you're giving her these commands of exactly what to do, right? And then once you build up to the climax point, which I'm not gonna cover here entirely, but then another technique that you can use is a countdown, right? So when you're gonna make her come, you want to start counting down and explicitly tell her she's not allowed to come until you get to 0, right? So you start going 10, 9, you start going a little faster, right? You command her, you tell her what to do, and you get all the way to 1. And then when you get to 0, she's going to have like one of the most explosive orgasms she'll ever have.
Fire. Fire, fire, fire. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, that's all well and good, but I'm just like, I'm not that confident. I'm not that charismatic. I'm not that, you know, direct of a guy. I'm not that comfortable in my own skin, let alone being sexual. I find being sexual kind of cringe or try hard, or it's just not me. It's just not who I am as a person. Now, one of the things in this book called Domination Principle he talks about is how as a human being, you cannot simultaneously feel fear at the same time as arousal. So this basically means that fear and arousal are opposites, right? They cancel each other out. And with that being said, if you just master the technique, You practice this in the mirror, you get it down, and you put yourself into that state. When you're sending these voice messages or when you're in person with a girl and you just flip yourself into that state, all your nervousness that has been your issue, since the beginning of time will dissipate and go away. So the solution to the issue of thinking that you and your identity is somebody who is nervous is literally not hesitating and just learning dirty talk, learning how to change your state into being aroused, being turned on, being horny, if you will. And that is actually your solution to all of your problems. Oh, wow. Interesting thing that it was that simple this whole time, that the main thing that you think is cringe is the main thing that's going to make it not cringe if you fully do it. See, the reason why it's kind of cringe for you is because you're half-assing it. You're not fully losing yourself in the moment like Eminem. You know what I'm saying? You got to let go and do that shit. And one of the best ways to do that is to practice by yourself in the comfort of your own home, in safety, in the mirror, till you got it down. Really do visualizing techniques. One of the main things that changed my life, guys, and we are coming out with a course that is called Leave Her Better and Wetter, and this training, this course is going to go into depth of all of this when it comes to mindset and becoming the greatest version of yourself. But one of the pieces of the puzzle that changed my life was I did years of meditation and visualization and affirmation and associations and deep anchoring of my own brain and just wiring my brain to be who I wanted to be. And there's so much holding us back. What our parents think of us, what society thinks of us, what is right, what is wrong, morality, all of these ideas swirling around in our brain. And these are all stories that we've heard from somebody, right? And these things literally stop us from being our true self and who we really are inside. So with all of that being said, guys, all right, so for those of you who actually want to take your sex life to the next level and actually get the results that you've been looking for, join our free Facebook group below. It has all the resources, all the guides that you're looking for. It's all there, okay? And it's a community of men that are on the same journey as you. Don't miss out on that. And also, follow our Instagrams, all right? It's going to be all right there in the description. Go follow our Instagrams. Go follow us on social media. And remember, if you leave a review on this podcast, you have a chance to win a $250 gift card. And also, we will be doing one-on-one coaching calls with a select individual that wins as well. All right, so with that being said, guys, we will see you in the next episode. We're out. Peace.
Also, by the way, guys, we give away Amazon gift cards to 3 people every single week who leave a review on our podcast on iTunes. Just go ahead and leave a review and send us a screenshot to @leaverbetter&wetter on Instagram, and good luck on winning. One last thing, we have 2 free resources for you guys. We have a free copy and paste sexting script that is literally designed to get any girl craving to see you in person and begging to please you in every single way. But be careful though, it's so effective that you might get girls that you never thought you could attract and you currently think are out of your league. And that's why the second free resource we have for you guys is actually a 10 to 15 orgasm guide, where we will teach you step by step the exact same process that we use to give any woman that comes into your life 10 to 15 orgasms every single night, guaranteed. You will need this resource. The first one that we give you will actually give you an abundance of women, and this resource will help you retain every single girl that comes into your life. Anyways, guys, just go to leaverbetter&wetter.com to claim these resources, and don't forget to leave us a review on iTunes and send a screenshot. And that's it from us for this episode. Until next time, guys, remember to always leave her better and wetter. We out.